Hey guys, I'm back here again for a new first time watch video. It's been a while since I've done one of these and I wanted to do one because I watched the movie last night and I want to talk about it. And this movie has been out for a few years now, but the movie I'm be talking about is Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. And this movie is of course based on the classic book series, which I actually still have my copies of the three books. And I remember the first time that I saw the Scary Stories books and seeing the illustrations in them and just being like they were just so creepy and just so over the top, and they look gross, and it was different from any of the other horror themed like books that were made for like teenagers. And just seeing the illustrations were just so messed up in them. And when I heard that they were going to be doing a movie, I already assumed that the effects, and the monsters in this movie, I already knew that they weren't going to look as good as the illustrations in the book. And I also knew that this movie was not going to be anywhere close to being as grotesque or as creepy or whatever as the books, because when you're reading a book you have your own imagination and you imagine what something really looks like, or you have this picture in your head of what's going on. And no matter how scary a movie is that's based on a book, it's never going to be as scary as what you see in your head. So when I heard that they were making this movie, I knew it wasn't going to be as grotesque or as creepy or whatever as the illustrations in the book. And also, when I found out it was going to be rated PG-13, I knew it wasn't going to be as grotesque or anything like that. But I also knew that these books are these books were kind of made for teenagers, so I kind of understood why this movie was PG-13. PG-13 horror movies do not bother me. I know a lot of people are bothered by them, and the main reason why is because they have to cut back and they can't be as gory or as violent as that they want to be, because they want to get the PG-13 rating. And I understand that. But I personally enjoyed this movie. I really enjoyed the characters in it. I thought all of them were really great characters. I like the plot of the movie as well. I'm not going to go too much into it for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, but I did enjoy the plot of it. I like that the opening of the movie, it started off on Halloween. I got a really good Halloween and October feel from the first couple scenes in the movie. And I overall thought this was a pretty good. I thought it was pretty good. Now, as far as the actual monsters, like I said, I already knew that they weren't going to be as grotesque or as creepy or as as gross as they are in the illustrations of the original books. But I still thought that they looked pretty good for the most part. Of course, one of the main monsters is of course Harold the Scarecrow, and he's right here on the front. I thought that he looked really good. And then I thought that the monster in the big toe and the other monster, which name I'm forgetting. I thought they all looked pretty good. And there is one thing though. I felt like that some of the monsters were kind of revealed a little bit too early, because in every scene that a monster is coming after a certain character, it shows the tension starts to build up, and then it shows the monster, and I think that kind of loses some of the tension. I feel like if they had waited until the character saw what was coming for them, I think that the tension would have been better, because I feel like that in every single scene when there's a monster, there's always a close up of it, and it reveals it and it shows the entire monster, and then it shows the character, and then a little bit later it shows the character seeing it for the first time. And I think that that kind of took away the suspense, because you already knew what the monster looked like. I don't know if they did that because they didn't want to make this movie too scary, because they tried to make this, like I said, for teenagers. You know, they tried to make it PG-13. Like, this movie was obviously made for teenagers, which, like I said, is okay, because the books are made for teenagers. You know, I mean, I remember seeing these books at the Scholastic Book Fair, you know, at my school. So, you know, I mean, I knew that, you know, this movie was, you know, made for teenagers. You know, so it didn't bother me. I just knew that I just felt like that they could have made it, you know, a little bit creepier. I feel like that they could have held off on on showing some of the monsters, and I also feel like that, you know, they couldn't go as far as they wanted to, with some of the scenes because they wanted to get a PG-13. Now I did hear, or I did see a lot of people say, because after I watched the movie, I did watch a few reviews just to see what other people thought of it, and for the most part, you know, mostly people liked it. But there were some people that said that they thought the movie would have been better if it was like an anthology on Netflix, you know, or like a TV series where every story from the book, they could have made it a TV show on Netflix or something like that. Because in the movie, you know, it's not an anthology. It's not like three separate stories, and I think that, to make it, if they wanted to make it more faithful to the book, I do think that it could have worked better as a Netflix miniseries or something like that. But overall, I still really did enjoy Scary Stories. Like I said, I did enjoy the characters. I like that, it followed these teenagers in this small town. I love movies that are about, young kids or young teenagers in a small town going on some sort of adventure. Some of my favorite movies, The Goonies, Stand By Me, that they're saying a lot. There's so many of those movies about, a group of kids going, in their small town, going out, and this is kind of like one of those. So I really like that. And I thought that the entire storyline itself was pretty good. Like I said, I don't want to give too much away. This movie has been out for a while, so I'm sure everybody knows the plot of it. But if you haven't seen it, I don't want to give anything away. And, I thought this movie, like I said, was pretty good. Just, don't expect it to be, if you haven't seen it, don't expect it to be as grotesque or as creepy as the books. This is definitely kind of a watered down version of that. But I still thought it was overall a pretty decent movie. And if you see this movie on Netflix and if you haven't seen it, and if you're looking for, a new movie to watch, now that it's, in October and it's getting close to Halloween, if you're looking for something new to watch, then I'd recommend checking out Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. Like I said, don't expect it to be anywhere close to being as creepy as the books or anything. But if you're looking for sort of, a fun movie about, teenagers, sort of, being stalked by these monsters, I'd recommend checking it out. Because I did enjoy it. I know there's a lot of people that said they were disappointed in it because it wasn't anywhere close to being, the way that the books are. But like I said, when you do a movie that's based on a book, no matter how good the movie is, it's never going to be how you picture it in your head. So it's never going to be as good as the book because, when you're reading a book, your imagination is going and you're picturing it in your head, and and that's what I always, whenever I see a movie that's based on a book, I always try to judge the movie and not compare it to the book. I mean, I know a lot of people are going to do that, but I already know going in that, the movie's not going to be like the book. There aren't that many movies that are, really faithful to books. I'm not saying that there aren't. I'm just saying for the majority of movies that are based on books, they're usually not as, they're similar, but they're usually not as faithful as they can be. So when I see a movie that's based on a book, I don't think this movie better be as good as the book. I think, oh, let's hope this, I try to judge the movie based on its own merits and not compare it to the book. But anyway, guys, like I said, if you haven't seen Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, and if you're looking for, something new, something fun to watch around Halloween, check it out. And let me know down below what you think about Scary Stories. If you have seen it, Like I said, I know there's a lot of people that are mixed about it. You know, some people enjoy it, some people don't. I do like that it did make money and it did get good reviews because at the end of the movie, it sets it up for a sequel, and I'm really curious to see where this is going to go. It was announced no, actually this year I think. I can't remember if it was this year or last year, but it has been announced that they are doing a Scary Stories 2, and I'm looking forward to seeing that because I did enjoy this one, and I'm really I'm curious to see how they're going to continue on with the series. But another thing that's cool about about the sequel is that now they can bring other stories from the books and make and put them into the movie as well. So but anyway, guys, like I said, if you haven't seen it and if you're just looking for something fun to watch, this Halloween, check it out. Don't expect anything amazing, but just expect to have a good time. And if you have seen it, let me know down below in the comments what you thought. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I do plan on doing more of these first-time watch videos because there are a few other horror movies that I do plan on watching for the first time this year. Before Halloween. I want to watch Doctor Sleep. That's the next one. And when I do that, I will do a video talking about it because I haven't seen that yet. I haven't watched Parasite. There's a few other movies that I know a lot of people, that almost everybody has seen except for me. So I do plan on checking those out eventually. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.